Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, George Mason University proudly brings to you its premier movie review program that's out of this world. I'm the Dean Machine, Roger Dean, with Mason Cable Network and Student Media, and this is From the Cinema.
Brady will win his 5th term in Congress simply by signing the registration ballot. That's one of the perks of running unopposed.
Let's get this bad boy signed.
I don't know if that's supposed to be pushing or pulling. Hey.
Who is that guy?
This has been my dream, running for office.
Welcome back to From the Cinema with your host, the lovely Roger Dean. I hope everyone is enjoying this beautiful weather. I know I am. Either way, I hope all is well. And in case you haven't been watching the news, the United States presidential election of 2016 is just beginning. At least the campaigning portion has begun. Currently, we have 4 people who have thrown their names into the metaphorical hat. We have the following people who might be our next President of the United States. First, we have the Democratic candidate, Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was the U.S. Secretary of State from 2009 to 2013 under the Obama administration. She was also a U.S. Senator from New York from 2001 to 2009. She was also the First Lady of the United States from 1993 to 2001 with our 42nd President, Bill Clinton. She was also a candidate, presidential candidate in 2008, but obviously she lost to Barack Obama since he's now currently the president. Next, we have the Republican candidates. Ted Cruz, who has been a U.S. Senator from Texas since 2013. He was also the Solicitor General of Texas from 2013 to 2008. We have Rand Paul, who has been a U.S. Senator from Kentucky since 2011. He is the middle son of Ron Paul. And then lastly, but not least, we have Marco Rubio, who has been a U.S. Senator from Florida since 2011. He was also the Speaker of the Florida House of Representatives from 2007 to 2009. Now, no need to talk about my political affiliation, but I will say, just please make sure you vote when the time comes. If you don't vote and things go wrong, do not complain. By not voting, you basically forfeit your right to complain. You could have helped change the way things went if you didn't want them to go that way, but you didn't vote, so vote. In honor of the upcoming campaign season, today I'll be reviewing the 2012 comedy, The Campaign. So in this review, I will talk about the importance of election days, as well as this movie, and I'll also talk about the cast. I mean, these 2 main characters are hilarious. That should be enough reason to review this movie. But anyways, I went to see this movie with very good friends of mine at the time, but only one really stuck around, so that deserves a shout out to that guy. So shout out to my main man, Curtis Eichelberger. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. Curtis E. Mr. Curtis E. Get it? Curtis Eichelberger? Yeah. There was another person who saw it with us, but I'm not going to talk about them because yeah. Enough about them. Let's talk about politics. Now, as George Mason University students, we all live in Virginia, and we have an election every year. So I want to make sure you vote. And in case you didn't know, in case you didn't want to vote, I want you to understand what election days mean. So on election day next year, aside from electing one of these people as our president, or probably somebody else who hasn't already thrown their name into the hat, we will elect our congresswomen and men, who are going to, supposed to serve their constituents. We will elect our senators who represent their entire state in the Senate, and we will also elect plenty of our representatives who are responsible for their district in the House of Representatives. We have a 2-party system where you are either Democrat or Republican, and then of course we have some independent parties that never really win office. Sorry, it just happens to be that way. I can't really do anything about it. And in this movie, those ideas go out of the window because both of these candidates are just ridiculous. The movie stars Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis as Cam Brady and Marty Huggins, respectively. You may know Will Ferrell from Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy in 2004, Talladega Nights, 2006, The Blades of Glory, 2007, as well as Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, 2013. He's also considered a member of the Frat Pack. I had no idea what this was. So the Frat Pack is a generation of leading Hollywood comic actors who emerged in the late 1990s and the 2000s, and this includes Jack Black, Ben Stiller, Steve Carell, Vince Vaughn, and brothers Owen and Luke Wilson. Had no idea that was a thing. Frat Pack. Interesting. You may know Zach Galifianakis from the Hangover trilogy, 2009 to 2013, the movie Due Date, as well as Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, 2014. Oscar-nominated movie, by the way. Side note, That movie tries to answer the question, what happens when the Hulk beats Batman? See what I did there? Because Edward Norton was the Incredible Hulk in 2008, and Michael Keaton was Bruce Wayne, Batman, and Tim Burton's Batman in 1989, and then Batman Returns in 1992. Weird, really, really weird movies. Good Joker, though. Anyway, back to the movie. Cam Brady and Marty Huggins are two North Carolinians vying for a seat in Congress. Now, these type of seats are really important. The president can only do so much, but without a helpful Congress, nothing will get done, as you can probably see with our current Congress and our current administration. Now, in this movie, Cam Brady has won 5 times in the 14th Congressional District of North Carolina for Congress. Now, the first joke is that they are running for a House of Representatives seat that does not exist. So that's one reason why he probably won 5 times. But he also ran unopposed, so that's the main reason. The point of this movie is to see who can make the best campaign. This movie is one of my favorite types of, comedy, satire. Satire, according to Google, means the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose and criticize people's stupidity or vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues. Here's another small list of other satirical movies: Airplane, 1980; Bruno, 2009; Fight Club, 1999; Jennifer's Body, awful movie; 2009, Wall-E, 2008, really great movie. There's no Planet B. Reduce, reuse, and recycle, guys. Borat, 2006, Dear White People, 2014, is actually a really good movie. Please check it out. It's actually really, really good. Robin Hood Men in Tights, 2003, which is just an off-the-wall. It borders. It's really off-the-wall. It's a good movie, but it's pretty weird. Hairspray, 1988, and The Risky Business, 1983. I've seen a couple of these movies, and as you can tell by some of the titles and some of the movies, the genre of satire borders on farce. Some of these movies are just absolute nonsense. Now, the main reason this movie is funny is because of the scenes that are written to appeal to certain types of people. The way the lines and scenarios were set up in the movie, where each candidate attempted to get more voters, those were pretty funny. It attempted to appeal to certain voters in the scene, and sometimes it went really well, and sometimes it went really badly, really quickly. Like, wow, that escalated really quickly. Some people just don't have the faith of God.
But the f***er bit me. I'm sorry, the snake bit me.
Which means you don't have the faith of God.
The other part of the comedy was how serious they were about the scenes. They portrayed it as if they were actually running for office. They're trying to win, so they can't be made a complete fool of at any time. The candidates don't want to look bad ever, so they try their best not to. However, when you get called out, you have to respond, and sometimes you just can't help it.
Start with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, art who is up in heaven, aloe vera be thy name. The thigh. Thy kingdom come.
Sometimes you just get it wrong, as you can see. I recommend seeing this movie. It is funny. It is true to some extent. It has some truths in it, obviously. And people want to win by any means necessary, but I guess it makes, people show their real selves. I personally am a supporter of this movie. I will not talk about my actual political affiliation. You might enjoy the ending or not, depending on who you think should win. Either you should take care of business or you should clean up the mess. Also, you might not like this movie because of some of the reasons that, I'll state soon. The plot kind of slows and expedites for no real reason. The language used is sometimes not as appropriate as it could be. The cursing and sexual jokes and references in this movie are probably really realistic to congresspersons' lives. But during the campaign season, obviously it shouldn't. But mainly, if you don't like crude humor, you are going to have a bad time, so don't see this movie. Now, for me, the cameos in this movie are also what give this movie an extra boost for me. Here's a list of the cameos that were in this movie, and they were played as themselves. So we have Wolf Blitzer, Piers Morgan, Bill Maher, Chris Matthews, Dennis Miller, Lawrence O'Donnell, Joe Scarborough, and professional WWE wrestler The Miz. Some would say he's awesome, some would disagree. Bottom line, 1, see this movie. 2, politics is always going to be funny. 3, these 2 main characters are ridiculous. 4, and if you don't know what your political party is, just take a quiz. They're out there online. 5, go vote. 6, if you don't vote, you forfeit your right to complain, so vote. And then 7, usually polls in Virginia close at 7 p.m., so get in line by 7 p.m. What else? 8, don't punch babies. 9, if you do, make sure the baby doesn't have an iron-like jaw. 10, that was a joke. 11. Same thing with dogs. Don't hit them. That's cruelty to animals.
Remember the politician that punched a baby? Well, he's at it again. He just punched Uggy, the dog from the Academy Award-winning film, The Artist.
Also, The Artist. That was a good movie. Don't hit people. It's not nice. And then finally, voting is our civic duty. Now, I thank you all for sticking around to the end of the video. As stated before, I won't give it a rating here, but I will on my blog, which you can check out. You know, I've already reviewed it there, so go to my blog and check it out. It's right there. And in case you don't know what my blog is, you know, after however many episodes, you should probably know by now. It's rogersrundown.blogspot.com. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feedback, or emotional outburst, feel free to reach out to me personally on my Twitter at DeanMachine2016 or my blog, which is again rogersrundown.blogspot.com. That is all. Thank you. And until next time, do good things and make good choices.